reading my story, Chasing Rainbows. Chapter 8, Revelation. Jess rapidly finished collecting the glasses and hurried off in the direction of the vast hallway, fervently hoping that she had not been observed. Her face was burning, and her heart beat with small jerky movements. She made her way into the kitchen. There was no way she could stay now. She must collect Louisa and leave at once. She would say she felt a headache coming on and begged to be excused. Indeed, most of the work she had been asked to do she had accomplished. Jess was certain Mrs. Price-Newton would not object to her hasty departure. Louisa was bound to be disappointed, but it could not be helped. She must make her apologies and leave. After all this time, why did he have to appear after all this time? Hot tears of anger burned her eyes, and yet she was filled with an overwhelming desire to speak with him. He had left her in dire straits, without any word of his intentions to marry someone else. She had been left to face his father, with her heart and mind in turmoil. She had given birth to his daughter in windswept fields of snow. If Albert had not discovered them so promptly, they would have surely perished. Yet, despite all this, she yearned to tell him of her cherished hopes and dreams, albeit futile. But sadly, she knew this was impossible. They were worlds apart, as indeed they always had been. He was unobtainable. Jess hurried into the kitchen. Oddly enough, the kitchen area was deserted. Even Louisa was missing. Jess placed the tray of used glasses upon the table, her hands trembling. Then, from outside in the garden, she heard sounds of childish mirth. Her curiosity aroused, she passed through the kitchen door and followed the pathway that led to the patio and garden area. Then she caught sight of her daughter. Her dainty hands linked with the small boy's as they danced happily upon the lawn. Louisa was singing Ring-a-Ring-a-Roses, a rhyme she had learned from nursery school. Jess could not help but smile as she observed the amusing little scene. Most of the wedding guests appeared to have gone inside to sample the delicious buffet and wine, so the garden area was almost deserted. Jess hastened across the lawn, anxious to collect Louisa, but to her dismay, Joseph strolled across to the children and beamed down upon them. "Hello, can I join in?" he asked in amusement, as the children fell about laughing upon the grass. Just then Louisa caught sight of her mother, and jumping to her feet she ran and hid behind her skirt. She was suddenly overcome by shyness. The small boy scrambled to his feet, his face flushed with excitement. Joseph picked up his son and walked over to where Jess stood, with Louisa peeping out from behind her skirt. Jess gazed upon him as she struggled to control her emotions, despite her wildly beating heart. "Jess, is it really you, or am I dreaming?" He spoke softly as their eyes met. She felt her insides melt. Jess stood rooted to the spot as Francis struggled to free himself from his father's arms. "Hello, Joseph." She found her voice at last. Louisa, thumb in mouth, her shyness forgotten, emerged from Jess's skirt and studied this stranger who made her mamma blush. Francis wriggled free and caught hold of Louisa's dainty hand. Both children raced off across the lawn. Louisa glanced back at her mamma, who had still not moved. Joseph took a step forward and, taking her trembling hand in his, exclaimed, "Oh, Jess, why did you run away? Don't you know how desperate I was to find you?" His eyes filled with tears as he thought to control his emotions. He looked across to where the children frolicked upon the grass. "Is the last mine?" he murmured. Suddenly it was all too much for Jess. Abruptly, she pulled her hand free. "You have a fine son. My regards to your father, Joseph," she replied frostily, as she struggled to control her temper. She turned away from him, her face burning. How dare he presume to think that she still cared? He stared after her in utter despair. He had not handled this well at all. "Oh, but Mama, I don't want to go home." The little girl tried to pull away as Jess grasped her hand tightly. She was furious with her mamma for taking her away just when she was having so much fun. "We have to go, Louisa. Mama has a headache," Jess insisted as she fought to control the turmoil of emotions erupting within. She hurried the rebellious Louisa away without a backward glance, almost colliding with Sarah, much to the latter's surprise. "Oh, there you are! Mrs. Price Newton says she is more than pleased with our efforts, and look how much she gave us." She held out her hand to reveal 4 gold sovereigns. Jess gasped in astonishment. That was more than she could earn in a month. They were met outside by Albert, who had driven back to meet them. Jess bundled a very disgruntled Louisa into the trap. Albert clicked the reins gently against the old mare's flank, and they set off at a steady pace. Louisa sat with her small face flushed with annoyance at her mother. Sarah was slightly amused. "Oh, what's upset, madam?" She nodded towards the furious little girl. "The usual. She couldn't get her own way, so she sulked," Jess replied, as she attempted to place her arms about the child to console her, but Louisa jerked away. "Oh, well, suit yourself, young lady." Jess was slightly irritated by her daughter's sullen behaviour. Then the little girl touched her hand. Her small head hung in shame. "I'm sorry, Mama," she murmured, nestling into her arms. Despite her mild irritation concerning her daughter's conduct, her heart softened. "I know you are, sweetheart," Jess reassured her with a kiss. She could never be angry with her for long. Joseph hurried out to the driveway with Frances in his arms, just in time to see the trap disappear into the open dirt road. The little boy was flushed, crying for Louisa. He rubbed his eyes. "We find Lou, Papa," he whimpered. Joseph caressed the little boy's hair and smiled. "Maybe tomorrow, Francis." He tried to console the fretful child. Reluctantly, he turned his back on the departing trap and carried his son on his shoulders towards the house. There was no doubt in his mind that Louisa was his little girl, the true child of his heart. He reflected upon how much pain he had caused Jess by his hasty departure from her life, albeit inadvertent. If only he had listened to his heart, ignored his father's wishes. Yet at the time, he had believed Jess had left of her own free will. Now he was not so sure. Tears of despair filled his eyes. He had been such a damn fool. The warmth of the sun beat down upon him, but it was raining in his heart. and anxious Victoria ran out to greet them. Placing the fretful child into her arms, he wondered if the sun would ever shine again in his world.